More than a year into the pandemic, you continue to share with us how the Illinois unemployment system is still failing. We have painstakingly investigated case after case that you brought to us, each time asking IDES to sit down with us and answer your questions about what's broken and what it's going to take to fix it. Finally tonight, some answers straight from the top in this exclusive interview with CBS 2's Tara Molina.
We got 30 virtual minutes with Acting Director Kristin Richards. Not enough time to address the hundreds of issues we've investigated since the bottom of the job market fell out a year ago, but enough time to get answers to some of the questions IDES hasn't answered on issues that are affecting so many of you. Crucial to the state's response to the pandemic, to the taxpayers of Illinois, we committed to uncovering and investigating your unemployment issues and the systemic failures causing them for more than a year now. But it hasn't been easy. We've had public records requests denied, blacked out, requested interviews constantly only to get written statements in return. Many that didn't even answer our questions, your questions. 12 months of that led to this, a Zoom call with Acting Director Kristin Richards. Why is this the first time we're hearing from you? Why just written statements every week?
Honestly, I think we've been very, very busy here. We have worked hard to respond to the questions that you do ask of us. But, you know, we're happy to sit down today.
This, our first chance to bring your issues directly to the top. I mean, people still call this a broken system.
So for me, Tara, just personally, when I hear that individuals are having a difficult time resolving their issues with the agency, it's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, but a year into the pandemic that caused millions in Illinois to lose their jobs. Many then forced to wait weeks and weeks on help just to try to secure benefits they're entitled to. What's being done to fix this? Richards told me the call center is the major priority for IDES right now.
We're viewing everything now through the lens of how do we increase that productivity.
Our latest public records request shows there were 100,920 phone numbers sitting in IDES's queues, people waiting for a returned call, a lifeline to their benefits. She says that number is down to just over 100,000 now.
It's not where we want to be. We just need to continue working to drive those numbers down.
By increasing call center hours and working through weekends and holidays. We know people are still waiting weeks on a call for help, but the number of people waiting is only part of the problem. We continue to investigate issues on the other end of the line. Contracted call takers who can't answer questions or give out bad information. Richards acknowledges it's an issue.
Quite frankly, it's unacceptable.
Telling me they're working on monitoring calls and continuing training for those workers. As for calls that come after weeks-long waits only to drop or disconnect, she says IDES is also digging into that and claims it's not a technology problem.
What we have also started to do is pull a report at the end of the day in our call center that gives us an indication of what calls have been dropped. And we have asked our call center agents to reach out to those people within 1 to 2 business days in order to complete the call.
And we learned through public records requests, IDES is keeping track of how many of those dropped calls are actually returned by a human. Another major issue hammering the agency, fraud. According to IDES, they've stopped about 1.5 million fraudulent unemployment claims. But how many have taxpayers in Illinois paid out, lost, to fraudsters? We've asked more than once. Why is it that to this day we haven't heard a total cost, a number on the fraud issue in Illinois?
We are working hard to quantify that number.
Still no answer. But for the first time, we did get an answer to another question. Why can't IDES open its offices?
We are going to open our office as soon as it's feasible for us to do so.
The timeline right now, Richards says later this summer, with plans to test out in-person service at locations before fully opening their doors.
But we want to ensure that we are not creating a chaotic, unsafe environment for claimants that are visiting our offices. So we are going to do it gradually.
A gradual plan to reopen and a continued plan to improve, we're hoping, transparently.
I think today, just having this conversation with you around our call center numbers and how our callback system is working and how there is really need for room for improvement is important.
Right now, IDES is trying to get a $60 million increase to next year's budget to tackle some of these issues, with $30 million marked for their call center and another big chunk marked to tackle fraud. For CBS 2, I'm Tara Molina.
You can see more from Tara's exclusive interview in the Working for Chicago section of our CBS Chicago app. We'll also be playing it in full throughout the day tomorrow on our digital streaming network, CBS in Chicago.